Hello, I'm Dr. Beth Godey.
And I'm Dr. Martha Leatherman. I'm a geriatric specialist in psychiatry.
And I'm a neuropsychologist, and I specialize in aging.
We're experts in dementia care, and we're here to provide you some information and answer some questions that we hear very commonly about dementia and other issues in aging.
Well, in this session, we'd like to talk about a topic that can be very disturbing
Frightening.
to people and frightening: hallucinations and dementia. And first of all, I guess we need to define what a hallucination is, because a lot of people confuse it with other things.
Right. Well, it's most often confused with delusions. So let's start with the hallucinations. Hallucinations are where you have a sensory perception of something that doesn't exist. So you might see something that is not there, hear voices or sounds that are not there and other people can't hear. You might see a circus in the backyard when there isn't one. I mean, that's a visual hallucination. When you hear something that's not there, that's an auditory hallucination.
And we're not talking about the bumps in the night that we hear in our house. We're really talking about hearing actual voices and as if someone is talking to you or talking to someone else in the room.
Right. A delusion is a belief that something is happening when it's not. And so, for example, you were telling me about someone that you knew who saw cows on the roof.
Right.
Which is a hallucination.
Right.
But then when he saw the lights in the parking lot and thought they were coming to get him, the lights were real, but the belief that they were coming to get him was the delusion.
The belief.
The
yes.
belief that was inaccurate.
And a very common misperception that can turn into a delusion is when people with dementia will misplace things, or they'll hide their belongings from themselves to keep them safe, and then forget where they hid them, and then they can't find the object, and then they think, well, obviously someone must have taken it. If I can't find it, it must have been taken. The delusion comes in when they say, Ernie, my brother, is coming into the house every day and taking my things. So that it becomes quite specific.
Right.
And the belief is there. You cannot talk the person out of that. You can't logically reason with them to talk them out of it.
But we do want to focus on hallucinations.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so hallucinations are when you typically see or hear something that is not in existence. In dementia, hallucinations are not uncommon, and they occur. It's not a natural, expected part of the illness, but when we see them as physicians and as healthcare professionals, it's not unusual. The first thing you need to know about new onset hallucinations in somebody with dementia is that you need to see your doctor. It's not necessarily an emergency room visit, but there are a lot of medical illnesses that can cause hallucinations. The most common being a urinary tract infection. But you can also have strokes that can cause them. You can have other infections. So the person needs to get checked out by the doctor.
That's always the first step when you see a new
thing
problem
with somebody with dementia. You're going to want to have them checked out by the doctor.
That's right. Now, a lot of people, though, Dr. Leatherman, think, well, if the person's hallucinating, they're crazy, and we need to put them on some medications to get rid of the hallucinations. They automatically think, let's throw pills at it.
Well, and in a young person, that's pretty close to true. Not 100%. You got to have a workup and so forth. But in dementia, when you have the hallucinations, you've got to really figure out, are these hallucinations bothering the person? I heard of one woman who sat at the window and enjoyed watching the children play on the grass outside the window. There were no children, it was a hallucination. But she enjoyed watching that and would sit for hours and comment to her daughter, oh, look, you know, the little girl with the pigtails has caught the ball. And if it's not bothering them and not interfering with care,
Right.
then it very well may be that the risks of medication for hallucinations far outweigh the benefit of giving them. The other thing is that those medications have to be given in fairly high doses in order to control the hallucinations many times. So you get a lot of toxicity and medication side effects that may not be worth it.
And truly, if the person is not disturbed or distressed or is not suffering from the hallucination, then there really is no reason to try and control the hallucination itself. Very often, families will use the hallucination as a way to start conversations and interact with their loved one. If they talk about the little girl in the backyard playing, then they can start a discussion about, Mom, remember when we used to bring our friends over to the house, and remember our friend so-and-so. And you can really start to reminisce or have a conversation with the person, which can make for a nice moment for both of you.
Now, I have to say, some of these things that we're telling you about hallucinations are not necessarily what you're going to read in a textbook, but it's what physicians and psychiatrists and psychologists know from experience in treating people who have dementia and have these problems. It's a bit counterintuitive because hallucinations are not part of our normal experience. It's not something that, you know, we say, oh good, I had a hallucination today. And so it worries people. So you think, we've got to do something. We've got to fix it. We've got to get rid of that symptom. Remember that dementia is the brain breaking down. The connections in the brain are not working and they're not right. And it manifests as symptoms. And one of the symptoms can be hallucinations. So as long as it's not disturbing the person, because they can be frightening, and that's not something you want anybody to put up with, and you can't talk them out of it. You can't say, no, Mom, you know, there's not a big dog who's going to come and hurt you. If it's frightening or upsetting to the person, you have to try to do something about it. If it's interfering with care, you have to do something about it. But always, you have to make sure that this new symptom is not from something that is medically treatable, thyroid, urinary tract infection, or something even more serious. So see your physician and don't panic. For more answers to questions like these, our book, The Insider's Guide to Dementia Care, is available at Amazon.com.